So, when and where were you born?
I was born in Fresno in 1947.
Why did you pick the Navy over the other branches?
I was kind of a toss-up between the Marine Corps and the Navy, and the Navy had a better program for during college.
I see. Um, when did you enlist in the Navy?
1967,
67. When did you go to Vietnam?
1970.
All right. What was your job in Vietnam?
I was a gunship pilot.
I see. How long were you in Vietnam?
I was there for almost 2 full tours.
Wow.
So, I was there for 21 months.
21 months. Wow. What was an interesting story from Vietnam?
Well, probably my most exciting thing was I basically did a combat rescue with a gunship. There was a group of SEALs that were surrounded, and we came in and attacked and trying to keep people away from them. And my wingman hadn't expended all of his ammo, but I had pretty much expended everything, except for I think we had 1,000 rounds of minigun ammo left, but I didn't have any rockets left. So myself and 2 other of our smaller aircraft went and landed and picked up the SEALs and departed. Most of us got injured during it, but we effectively got out. And
That's good. Were you injured in that engagement?
oh yeah.
Oh wow. Let me see. Where did you go? Since I do know you served after Vietnam, where did you go after your tours in Vietnam?
Immediately after Vietnam, I thought I was going to go to San Diego to a helicopter squadron there. And so I went, and while I was still healing, so I wasn't in a flight status for a little while. So time passed, and I got a call to call my detailer. So I called my detailer, and that's the guy that assigns you to squadrons. And he said, "Oh, you've not checked in yet. We've been trying to get a hold of you. You were accepted for test pilot school." And it turns out when I re-enlisted or extended in Vietnam, I was given basically choice of duty when you leave Vietnam.
I see.
And I'd put in for test pilot school, and they didn't normally accept lieutenant junior grade officers, except I had 1,700 flight hours at that point. And the minimum requirement was 1,500. And my detailer called test pilot school and asked them why they hadn't offered me a position in test pilot school. And they said, well, he's fully qualified, but he's only a junior grade. And the detailer told him, look, we made a deal with him. Oh, okay. So I went to test pilot school, and I was at Pax River, Maryland. And we call it a split tour. I had 2 positions, one going through test pilot school, and as soon as I finished that, rather than staying at Patuxent River, I went down to Panama City, Florida, and did the test program on the H-53 down there.
Wow.
And then after that, I went to HSL 33 in San Diego. That was a light anti-sub warfare helicopter. Then I went to postgraduate school. Then I went back to the East Coast to fly H-53s again. Then I went to Washington, D.C. for 2 tours up there in the Systems Command, and my last tour was over at Rota, Spain. And that was about my favorite tour.
What year did you retire from the Navy?
1989.
89. Since retiring from the Navy, present day, how do you now feel about the war in Vietnam? How do you now feel about it?
Starting in the 1974, I realized, or I was convinced, that we shouldn't have been there to begin with. And now that I look at all these wars that we've gotten into that didn't have clear-cut objectives,
Yeah.
didn't have clear-cut strategy or an exit strategy, I'm pretty much against them. If it isn't about protecting someone by a specific action or protecting our own country, we should not get involved. We can support people to fight for themselves. I'm totally against wars that we get into that have no exit strategy, no strategy to win.
When you came back from Vietnam, what was the public's reaction to people coming back from Vietnam?
When I got back, initially I went direct to Travis Air Force Base and stayed in the hospital there for about 2 or 3 months. No, it wasn't quite that long. My full recovery was 2 or 3 months. But when I was released from the hospital, it was the first time I'd worn any of my Vietnam medals or a uniform since leaving Vietnam. And they took us on a bus and dropped us off at the San Francisco bus terminal. And as we were getting off the bus, people threw things at us. And I was shocked. We were not respected. We were treated, in my opinion, as evildoers.
Yeah.
We were just following orders. If they wanted to do something about it, they should have done something with their vote. We were not well treated.
Yeah.
And we weren't well treated by the military either.
Yeah.
We weren't given any mandatory screening for post-traumatic stress or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point in 1970, I guess that was May of 72, I think.
Yeah.
When I left. We didn't acknowledge PTSD as a problem.
Yeah.
But we weren't given any screening, and I personally think that I was suffering from it. I was kind of a nasty person in some situations. And it took years to get over it.
Yeah.